No matter how strongly you feel about something, it is just an opinion in this case. There is no right or wrong here because there is simply no rule in place to enforce or not enforce this situation.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
All right, so on Hero Wars Facebook and Web and Hero Wars Alliance, we have this concept of win trading or not putting up a defense. I'm not sure what our situation is with Chrysaor lately. Like why they're not putting up a defense, but we are putting up a defense. I don't know if they're just trying to like get better and learn fights more or whatever. Those of you that have been following the channel for a long time, you know that Cry is our sister guild. I don't really know if, we're not even that friendly with them anymore. But anytime we face Chrysaor on Friday, we win trade. We both usually we don't put up any defenses, and we both get 1,400 points that day. This happens a lot, and most often when this happens, it's because there is a monopoly of guilds. Monopoly isn't the right word. A conglomerate, I guess, or something. There is 2 to 3 guilds. They're all the same guild, but they're like, Digital Dominance 1 and Digital Dominance 2 and Digital Dominance 3. And you see that kind of situation where there are 2 to 3 to 4 guilds that are all on the same Discord, and they work together, rotating people in and out of the number 1 ranked spot every week in order for those players to get Gold League trophies for a while. It doesn't matter as much on mobile. You just get more trophies, right? I guess we're in Gold League, so it doesn't matter. So you get more trophies and less trophies, and you're also doing it to keep people out of Gold League. You do it to kind of block a cartel. Perfect, a cartel. You do it to keep people out of Gold League, or to, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of reasons why you would do it, but the main thing is to keep yourself and your sister guilds or whatever in Gold League, in the top of Gold League. And, especially if you have a group of players, there's too many, 30, 60, 90, because each guild is 30 players strong. Now, what's really interesting about this that I find is that you hear a lot of people all the time, the vocal minority I often refer them to, and this is not excusing any activity, I'm not saying that, but you often see things like, well, my server is dead, but then on other servers you see them having 90 players on the same guild, in the same guild, even though it's a cartel, as we called it. Thank you, Vincent. The question comes up occasionally, it's like, is this good for the game? And I think sometimes it's definitely bad for the game, and sometimes it doesn't really have much of an impact on the game. I don't think it's ever good for the game. Should community managers, developers, or whatever step in and stop this sort of thing from happening? Win trading in mini games is illegal, right? Well, against terms of service, not illegal. We don't want to, there's no state law against it, no federal law against win trading, nothing like that. Although I guess in some instances there might be, whenever you're talking about professional sports and stuff like that. But anyway, this doesn't really help the game at all. It helps us and Cry have a nice break on Friday. That's the reason why we do it. At least on Surface, that's why we do it. Usually, we are in the top 3 every single week, our guild. And again, this is just my situation. I know that there are much more egregious situations, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. Usually, Digital Dominance, my guild, is in the top 3 every single week. Some days we drop down to 4, some days we're in second and third, most weeks we're in first place. Would us getting 900 points today instead of 1,400 points, would it make a difference? It could. It absolutely could make a difference. We might drop down to 2. We might drop down to 4. Very rarely are we ever in a position where we would drop down to 4th place, right? Very rarely does that ever have any opportunity of happening. And we're almost never in 5th or 6th place, even if we didn't do this ever. And the amount of times that we face Chrysaor on Friday, it what is it, like maybe once a month, right? Maybe once a month, maybe a little bit more depending on the luck of the draw and all of that. I don't know that our situation, although people on our server hate it, they do. They hate it a lot. We're cheating. It's collusion. And it is those things. It is those things. It absolutely is. By definition, I think by the strictest definition, it is absolutely collusion. Jacques says one way to prevent this is to have the points if no defense is in place. Those that do it use to take a day off instead of working for your points. Fair enough. So I don't know. The thing is, guys, and where I have a big problem with this, and I'm not saying that I don't have a problem with my situation. I don't care enough. Let's be very clear. I don't care enough to let this bother me. And I'll tell you why. If you don't like it, play better. Or pay better. Whatever. Pay more money or play better. Whatever. It's a pay to win game, right? If you don't like it, pay better. If you don't like it, play better. On situations like if the unit, Excelsior, and Chrysaor, if all four of these guilds, right, were in collusion together, and the whole point of it was to keep Insane Asylum out of Gold League. Like, I don't know why we would specifically pick on Insane Asylum. I don't know why anybody would pick on a guild. I don't understand the logic behind that. You're just being petty, I guess. Being petty. Maybe there's some personal grievances. I don't understand that kind of stuff. It's internet. You're all strangers. I don't understand. Words hurt me. Oh my gosh. People say horrible things all the time, and you shouldn't let it bother you. I just gotta let, life is too short to just, to let that stuff be affected by you. But if we in a 4 guild cartel were actively preventing people from getting into the top 4, from getting into consistent Gold League and all of that, I have a little bit more of a problem with that personally. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I have a little bit more of a problem with it than what we're doing. Though on some level, what we're doing, I also still kind of have a problem with. But again, I don't care. I don't care enough. If I'm having a trouble getting into Gold League, if my guild is having trouble getting into Gold League because there are 4 guilds blocking progress, move servers. Move servers. Just move servers. Join a new guild, right? If all 30 of your guild members are having that much of an issue, move servers. There are so many servers that are dead, right? So many dead servers. Just move servers or play better. Guys, I saw that Hero Wars Guide mentioned something up a little bit up here, and I wanted to highlight it real quick. They don't even enforce the rules that they do have. The expectation of what is right and wrong in a video game, from a moral standpoint, it's such a gray area if it's not expressly limited in the terms and conditions, the terms of service, or the player contract, or whatever you want to call it. There isn't anything that ever is going to happen. There is nothing that is ever going to happen on their end. Why would you want mommy and daddy to step in and fix your problem? Because it's not their problem. It's not their problem. They got on top. Networking, paying more money, having better teams, right? Those 3 things got them on top. If you can't do that, you can't ask somebody else to do it for you, right? You've got to take this, carpe that diem, man. You got to carpe that diem. And if that means moving servers, move servers. We had a double guild forming about a year ago on my starting server, so my guild moved servers. Now my guild moved again. I don't have the means to pay to rejoin my guild. Was with them. You don't have the means? Like, you don't have the 50 emeralds or whatever? We had the problem with 2 Russian guilds in Silver. Since Silver's weekly schedule is set by rankings, the rest of Silver was able to collude and send the Russians to the bottom. That's one way to go about it, I guess. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know. But I would be interested to hear anybody else's opinion on this. And this is just an opinion. No matter how strongly you feel about something, it is just an opinion in this case. There is no right or wrong here because there is simply no rule in place to enforce or not enforce this situation. If you don't like it, play better. Sorry. That's just how I feel.